What's up guys, Lucasberg here. Today I'm building a 300 sword. One of my favorite movie characters of all time was Leonidas, and he had a badass sword. This is my first fantasy sword. Made it out of a 4" by 3/16 inch piece of 1080 CRV2 steel. I'm really liking that steel. I had to cut a lot of it out with the angle grinder with the cutoff wheels. My bandsaw is, it's a real small bandsaw, but it does do metal, but I only have a 5" clearance, so I had to do a lot of it with the cutoff wheels. This sword is big and heavy. Ended up being 26 inches overall length, I think with about a 19" blade, but even right here profiled, it's really big and heavy. Now this sword, I used a lot of different techniques that I have never tried before. Did a lot of hand with like no jig, just freehand style. Never really done that before. But since I didn't forge this blade and I'm just doing stock removal, I couldn't do that big raised ridge that you get with forging. So I kind of went for a convex blade. It's more of an inspired one as opposed to an exact copy. I also used a flap wheel on my angle grinder for the first time, and that really helped blend things in. And then I've seen Matt from Man at Arms do this. I figured I had to give it a try on this one with the big long blade on the wheel. It actually worked really good. I don't think I would get crisp lines doing this like he does, but maybe with some practice. Worked really good though. Here I'm kind of smoothing it out. It's on the slack part of the belt. It still had like a lot of like facets and stuff from the different angles and everything. I convexed it out here, and then I did a bunch of draw filing to flatten out the main blade part. It's all shiny right here, but you can see the little bumps. So here I'm starting to draw a file, and I had a really big spot on both sides. I don't know, it was maybe the angle I was grinding, even with the jig. Down towards the blade there was a big long groove. You can see it forming right there. But I just draw file it out till it was gone on both sides. Had nice flat sides. A lot of people have asked me what files I use. I'm just using the cheap Harbor Freight files. Here, this was the hardest part of the whole build. I used this mystery steel for the hand guards, and I don't know what it was, but it was really hard steel. It was really hard to cut. I went through 4 cutoff wheels just cutting out one side, as you can see there. So I thought I would try drill pressing the other side, drilling a bunch of holes, and then using my bandsaw to cut through it, but it took about the same amount of time. And then actually cutting out the holes for the blade was the hardest part. I don't know what this stuff was. I ended up not being able to blue it or blacken it either. But it's some sort of high alloy steel. Then my drill press, I bought it used. It's like from 1978. The belts on the inside are starting to slip. I gotta replace it. But other than that, it's been working awesome. Here I'm trying to shape the hand guards a little bit. I didn't really use a lot of reference stuff. I just kind of went off in my head what I remembered that it looked like, since I'm not doing an exact copy, obviously. So there it is, I'm about to weld on the hand guards. Actually, I heat treat the blade first. That's right. I actually did pretty good on this one. There was just a smidge of a little micro warp. Came out really good. I noticed with the 80 CRV2 steel, you get a lot more decarb There's a lot more metal that you have to grind off to get to the hard stuff. It's a little bit different than 1095. Here again, I'm using the flat disc 120 grit. Never really done this before, but I haven't done a convex type of blade like this before. It works really well on this. Here I'm using my Harbor Freight 90 amp welder. It works, you know, I guess good enough for the stuff that I need it to do. You need to crappily stick two pieces of metal together. It'll do it. I'm using the Lincoln wire, and that seemed to make a huge difference on it as well. I wouldn't use this for any type of anything that you'd bet your life on. But for some small garage projects, it's been working awesome for me. This is also the first blade that I've welded onto the handle or anything, but it seemed to work pretty good. I've seen a couple people on Instagram weld on guards and stuff. Seem to work pretty good. Here I'm using the clean, I think it's called clean bore blackening stuff. Works pretty good. I don't know if I like it better than the Birchwood Casey's Super Blue. I put about 3 coats on and it gets it pretty deep black. I just kind of like the black blades, to me. I guess that's my style. Here I got it shaving sharp for a sword, not bad. Here I'm using West Systems epoxy 207 and 105. This is made for like more like paracord wraps and fabric. I did a paracord wrap underneath, and then I used an old brown t-shirt to wrap it for faux leather, and then I epoxied it up, and here it's all finished and sharpened. Just letting the epoxy dry, and then the next day I get to cutting. So this blade is pretty sharp. I can almost get 2 hands on it. I gotta let my pinky fall off the back. This thing has a lot of heft and forward weight. This is like a 2x6 that's been in my backyard probably like a year. It was feeling pretty good. I didn't feel any like shock or anything every time I hit. Here I'm trying to hit a knot to test the tip. It was sinking in like almost an inch every time. No tip damage. All those are right around the area of a knot or right on it. Here I'm doing the stab and turn or straight over, test the tip, no problems. Again, it doesn't look like I'm doing it that hard, but I was sticking it in pretty good. This is a concrete board that I used. I had a piece left over from my shower. I wanted to test the edge retention after this. This stuff's pretty hard. It's very abrasive. But took a little bit of the finish off, but this was without doing anything. It still cuts paper. And here it is all finished up. Thank you guys for watching.